Hello and welcome back to Yes, How Can I Help? In this series I deal accurately with any question that anyone has on essentially any topic in order to provide a viable human alternative to the growing phenomenon of the AI-powered search engine. As ever, this week lots of lovely questions, nearly all of them have come actually from comments or what we call interactions with the content. We're going to get straight into it this week. Alex, renowned for being quick on the draw with his 10 minutes on the clock. Here we go. So, plane! Quite a long way up, hopefully quite a long way up. We don't want it to sort of come plunging out of the sky and crush us, but it's still nice to see. Nice to see a plane. Those guys are off somewhere. Where am I off to? The Palace of Information. Occupant, me. Architect, what's his name? The famous one. Anyway, thank you for all the feedback last week. Thank you for the compliment about my hair. 2 people were dissatisfied with my answer to the question, what is quantum entanglement? I think, given that I don't look at these questions until we're doing it, and given that I have no background in physics at all beyond B at GCSE, I think it was...
Oh, I got an A.
Get fucked. Beyond an A at GCSE, I'm going to have mine reassessed. Tree there for Alex, an early chance. There you go. Physics boy,
Physics boy dodged that tree like it was nothing.
Physics boy is about to brain himself on a lamppost and get comeuppance. Anyway, I thought I did quite well, even getting close to an explanation of quantum mechanics alone, and we got as far as Heisenberg's uncertainty principle, but I was bluffing it, and I was, as I say, surprised I even knew that much. So, I've done a little bit more reading around the subject, and let's give this a go. Quantum entanglement describes the phenomenon whereby various little quantum friends, I think that phrase is accurate, particles cannot be they can't be talked about without relation to one another. Even if they're large distances apart, they are all, the quanta are all entangled. Their state has to be sort of described as a collective state. They can't be detached from each other. And this is a principle which didn't happen in classical mechanics, I believe, but it does happen in quantum mechanics with its wave-particle duality, and that's as much as I've been able to work out about how quantum physics works.
I'm getting deja vu here.
Yes, well, as I say, I wanted to respond to feedback.
Here.
Oh, here? Oh, we've been here, all right. And foliage! I knew that was coming. Several people have returned to the topic, the thorny topic of your friend and mine, the moon. On the subject of the moon, I recently learned that if it was made of cheese, say camembert, the gravitational forces would cause the surface to melt and boil. In this scenario... Boil? What would be... So it'd be like a gigantic fondue, I suppose. In this scenario, what would be the best thing to dip into it? Thank you for your wisdom and insight. That's a very nice way of signing off. Well, I suppose what we're talking about, really, and I'm not a huge nachos person myself, what I think you'd want would be a huge flatbread. But I can't emphasise enough, it would be enormous. If you just think about how big the flatbread would be. I mean, people keep talking fancifully about the moon and what we could do to it and how we would eat it and things. The moon is enormous. It isn't the size of the Earth, but you can't exactly put it in your fucking pocket and get it out at lunchtime either. Even just thinking about the sort of flatbread you'd be able to dip into a molten cheese-based moon is horrifying. Such a flatbread, I don't think, could be manufactured. I don't think it would retain its structural integrity. I don't think it's a justifiable use of all of the ingredients.
You look like you're trying to overtake me here.
Yes, but I'm just very worked up on the subject of this fucking enormous flatbread that this person has commissioned. More moon questions as well. If the moon suddenly fell, what would happen to the sea? Huge problemas. If it fell into the sea, there'd be such a big splash, everyone would be wet. Imagine if everyone in the world was wet at the same time. Well, stop imagining it. I'm on your screens. Did that sound weird?
God,
thinking away, yeah.
That's horrible.
Again, you see, wouldn't you gradually gain weight if you ate the moon? You could piece by piece consume and replace the moon, thus providing gravity to the world. But I don't have any plans to replace the moon. I think it'd be an enormous undertaking to provide gravity to the moon, to the world, and to be in charge of the tides. And Even the talking about being the moon or replacing it in any way is overwhelming me. So let's move on to other subjects. You said in the previous episode that this will continue at least until episode 200. What if you die before then? Asks this person ominously. Time check, please, Alex.
5, 10,
Whoa,
20.
almost bang on. Will you come back from beyond the grave, or will it be a weekend at Bernie situation? To do 200 more episodes of this, there's about 50 weeks in the year. We maybe miss the odd week, but that's 4 years. I'm only asking to live until I'm not even quite 49. I think that is realistic. I think I have every intention of living for the next 4 to 5 years at least, and I don't think we want a weekend at Bernie scenario where Alex is pushing my upright corpse around this park for week after week after week until people start to have concerned conversations about
But
him.
we could do it.
Oh, sure. So there we are. In the event of my death, this will continue regardless with my lifeless form and maybe somewhat a guest voice every week.
And some sunglasses.
Yes, and I will put it in my will so that it will have to be enacted. But I have, as I say, no intention of dying just yet. Wordle! Wordle alert! Capital letters. Is it cheating if your regular start word comes up? As you know, every 5-letter word in the dictionary will eventually be used or nah. No, of course it's not cheating. I personally, as we know, don't use a regular starter word because I think it's more fun to vary it. But if you do have one and you use it consistently throughout the whole period of Wordle's existence, then of course it will eventually come up, unless there are more words available than will ever be featured on Wordle, and I don't know what the answer to that is.
I believe it's 6 years. They said that they can
did
go
say
for 6 years.
So yes, one day your day will come. But if that's the day you forget to do Wordle or something and it's that word, that would be a crushing blow. That would be one of the worst things one can imagine. Another plane there. Everyone is flying. Everyone's off to Hawaii. How is well water safe to drink? Does it ever become stagnant or unsafe? Or is it always magically clear and drinkable? Yes, the simple answer is wells are magic. And the simple other answer is that man's bike did a big old squeak, and also 3 consecutive cyclists with hats. 3 consecutive cyclists with hats. Look at that. That's where the phrase hat trick comes from. Not helmets, hats. 3 people on bikes with hats in a row. I'm so sorry, I'm a genius. What's the best way to make sure the bottom of puff pastry doesn't get soggy when making a pie? Don't overfill the pie, and also don't undercook the pastry. So don't put it on too high a shelf in the oven. I'm talking, I think, correctly, even though I've never made puff pastry and I don't have any plans to. Are there any areas of human understanding or interest not now covered by a podcast? I'm thinking mime, but are there others? Yes, zebras. I've mentioned before I have a great fondness for zebras, our stripy friends from down in Africa. But you never hear a podcast about them. You never hear them dealt with in any real depth by a podcast. I'd listen to a 25-episode podcast about zebras. What they look like, what sort of stuff they like, what they think of. Zebras, man. Start a zebra podcast. I'm asking all of you in the world. And everyone in the world does now watch this, by the way. We got a notification this week. When it comes to health and safety, or safely they've written, is it more important to be healthy or safe? Cheers. Bit of both, I think. But I suppose safe. Because it's no good at, plummeting to your death from scaffolding and you're thinking, well, I don't have a cold at least. If you accidentally answer a scam call, what's the best way to utterly confuse them and ensure they never call back? Just thanks for your assistance in this matter. A simple technique is just to say, yes please, to everything.
Foliage!
At first they think they're onto something, and so they say, okay, great, would you like to talk about that? Yes please. But if you keep saying yes please, especially in quite a weird voice, after about the 50th time you said it, they will start to become concerned. Eventually, they will hang up. Why do sandwiches that are cut diagonally seem so much posher than sandwiches that aren't? I think it's because when you're a kid, your sandwiches, time please Alex?
140.
Are nearly always formatted in squares, and so there's an exoticism about triangles which might be unearned, but which nonetheless does continue well into adult life. And I cut my into triangles, my sandwiches, so I'm sort of tricking myself. Chesney Hawks, as Chesney Hawks, this is a follow-up from last week, sang the song The One and Only, but Nick Kershaw wrote it, and I didn't know that, except I did because I knew everything. Who truly is the one and only? I suppose you can say that they are collectively the two and only, and that ought to be the lyric, and that I will get in touch with Hawks to tell him. Given that there is both if and big if, are there other sorts of if I should be aware of to have in my back pocket for conversational duties? There are dozens actually of gradations of if. There are enormous planet-sized ifs and tiny little ifs. In that respect, actually, the if resembles everything. Everything in the world is either big or a bit small. Some things are like a big egg, but that's still smaller than a battleship. Everything has a size. You heard it here first. including our quantum friends. And we're almost back where we started. If you had to yell, wow, wow, mayo spectacular at the top of your lungs every time you're reminded of the existence of mayonnaise, or erase the existence of mayonnaise, which is the lesser evil? Well, I tell you what I'd choose. We all know, I'm gonna say mayo is something I really like. So obviously, any outcome which involves erasing the existence of mayonnaise is not satisfactory to me. So I'm gonna choose to yell, wow, mayo spectacular, every time I ever come across mayo, which is a big ask, and in restaurants will sometimes make me unpopular.
And that's time.
You've been watching, and I had plenty, as usual, plenty more, I suppose sloshing about is the phrase. We weren't able to tackle all of those.
You say I suppose every time and say it every time.
Yes, because I am supposing it every time, and then I'm thinking it, and then I'm saying the thing I'm thinking. Sorry for saying the thing I'm thinking, and sorry for supposing things, Alex. It's been quite a sort of spiky word, isn't it? I quite sort of enjoy it. AV Fowles and Sons Upholsterers have sponsored this episode, so I'm going to go now
Thanks, guys.
and ask them for £5,000. We didn't 100% confirm the sponsorship, but normally that works. Thank you for watching. 17th, I suppose. How can I help?
So we're away from it.
About the 6th of the way to our century. Let's hope at least that I live that long. Please keep your questions coming. There still is a bit of a backlog, so if you haven't had one answered, in fact, there are questions from several weeks ago that I look off I haven't got to yet. There are others that I probably didn't even see this time. It is not an exact science, but what is? Not even science in a way. Think about our little quantum friends. Unfortunately, I'm obsessed with quantum physics now. You don't know anything about it. Thank you for watching, as I say, and we'll see you next week. You can also tweet questions, and I probably will put out Mark Watson. You will probably tweet a subject request soon. I'm now being distracted by this man looking at me. All right, mate. Yeah. Sorry? Yeah. I'm on the Mark Watson. Yeah. And this is I've got a YouTube channel. This has been Yes, How Can I Help? Brought to you by Mark Watson, Alex Preston, and Frightening Men.